Call to order the work session of the Board of Mayor and Selectmen of the City of McComb City, Mississippi, October the 21st, 2025, 5:30 p.m. Work session, informal. It does not require board members to be here. However, it gives us the opportunity to ask questions of each other, to ask questions of presenters, whereby we can hopefully make intelligent decisions and decisions that are best for the City of Macomb. We all have the agenda. I'm going to ask that we will follow the agenda as close as possible. First, we have Mr. Doug Sawyer.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening. How are you?
Council members, thank you for having me tonight.
Yes, sir.
My name is Douglas Sawyer, and I graduated from McComb in 1984. And I served in the Army as a paratrooper, and I'm a 100% disabled American paratrooper. About 3 weeks ago, I met with the mayor about the American flags on Veterans Boulevard. I got a message that they were ordered and that they're in. Thank you on behalf of many veterans for Veterans Boulevard. I did want to present this evening simply because while at Fort Bragg I served as an honor guard for a retreat in the evenings to hold the flag every evening, and I took great pride in that. If I may pass these around. These are the conditions of the flags that were on Veterans Boulevard. I was shocked, to be honest with you. I took great pride in folding that flag, 13 folds, on retreat for Fort Bragg, all duty members on Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And I appreciate, Mr. Mayor, you coming through with what you said you were going to do. I thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
And just wanted to present this evening and just talk to you briefly, introduce myself, and nice to see you all. So I am a McCombite, if you will. Been transplanted many times, but you know that American flag, when it's torn and tattered like that, there's a procedure on retiring an American flag. It should be done semi-ceremoniously with distinction by burning the flag, and actually it goes as far as saluting and pledging, pledge allegiance while the flag burns to full ashes, so it's completely destroyed. I just took a lot of great pride in that, and seeing those flags like that was very embarrassing to me. And I'm sure as a retirement community that Macomb wants to be, many veterans come through here, and I'm sure the veterans in here this evening. Oh, yep. Thank you for the service.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I just want to come down tonight and just speak briefly, and I understand the bucket truck is broken down.
It's being repaired, and as soon as it's repaired, they're going to put the flags up.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to seeing them up there flying the red, white, and blue proudly.
Also, let me inform you that normally we hold the flags until the Boy Scouts come through, collect the flags, and properly dispose of the flags.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to bring the example of the pictures because I hope they don't become in that condition again.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's disgraceful.
Okay.
But I appreciate your time this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next is Mr. Sylvester Spurlock.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
My name's Buster Spurlock. I'm also a veteran of service, and I take pride in a lot of stuff that goes on with veterans, but it's not my complaint now. But my complaint is about being a veteran, how the city treats some veterans. My complaint is I was riding along Jackson Drive, McComb, and the curb from the street, a tree group had pushed it out. Housing authority say it's not their property. So on the other side of the sidewalk, that belonged to the city. but the city denied my claim for my insurance. So I was on one of the scooter one day. I was on one way back home and started right here on 3rd Street. I rode all the way down 3rd Street just looking at the curve. And I see one curve busted out, laying in the street. Then somebody said, the city's gonna repair a curve. So one of the homeowners said, look, yes they do. Look right there. There's a brand new one they just redid. Okay, I've seen other areas where the concrete block had broke off. It could cause somebody else to have the same incident I had. But like I said, I was parked for not to hit the curb. But by it being on neutral ground, and on the other side of that curb was going to the city, the root pushed it out. City saying it's not their property. House authority saying it's not their property. It sure ain't my property. So I think I should be awarded for my tire. I bought that tire, I think probably in June. I bought the tire on the 9th of June. Cost me $173. Okay, I was visiting in Texas for Father's Day. So after Father's Day, that's when I got back, that's when the tire was busted. I mean, a brand new tire.
Okay, Mr. Sylvester, let me simply say that the claim was filed with our insurance company. And once it's turned over to our insurance company, it is then their decision whether or not they will pay for your tire or not. And the insurance company ruled against reimbursing you for your tire. Now, some of the curves that you see repaired around the city, some of them are repaired because of the fiber that's being restored,
No, this ain't nothing to do with not this.
Wait, sir. I'm trying to tell you some of the curves.
Yeah.
I didn't say all. I said some. So just listen to what I'm saying. Some of the curving that you see being repaired is due to damage that was done by the companies that's laying fibers throughout the city. And I'm not sure where you're talking about, but that could be one of those areas where the curve has been repaired. But that was a decision that was made by our insurance company, not the city.
Okay, let me ask you another question. I'm just bringing a point up. Now, I was in the city of Jackson and hit a pothole about this deep. It hit it so hard, it knocked my blood compartment loose. The city of Jackson paid me. And it's in the middle of the street.
Again, if you hit a pothole here in the city of McComb, you will file it with our insurance company. And it's our insurance company that would either pay you or not pay you, but not the city of McComb. Selectwoman Isaac.
Okay, Mayor, I hear what you're saying and I hear what he's saying. But like, do they have other funds that they can pay out of? Like sometimes it's other funds. Like they say when the people pay something late, it's charged $1. It's charged $1 for like when they cut up any extra money, laying around. He says 100.
It was $173.
Selectwoman Isaac. Once it's turned over to the insurance company, the decision of the insurance company becomes final. If you start paying for everybody, you're gonna open a can of worms that you're gonna wish you did not open, because I can tell you there are a number of people who have hit a pothole and our insurance company has denied paying them anything. So everybody that hit a pothole that our insurance company denied, if you pay one, you're gonna have to pay them all. So like McComb,
You leave a work order in for this?
work order
Public Works work order in?
to fix, I would not know that. Mr. Spurlock, are you familiar with the area that he's talking about on Dyson?
Who is it me?
No, I'm talking to Mr. Spurlock.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm not familiar, but I can check that.
Would you check and see if we have a work order to repair that?
I will.
Okay.
Also, I have the pictures of everything, the receipt, what I paid for the tire and everything. I'm the same percent though. But hey.
Next on the agenda, Mr. J. Wilson, donation.
Evening, y'all. So, Keep Pipe County Beautiful was made aware of the Canadian National and American Bloom Matching Grant for sustainable landscaping in urban areas along the Canadian National Corridor. And that grant is actually incentivized for multiple revenue streams. The more revenue streams you have on the donation side, the more likely you are to win the grant. As such, our goal is to raise $25,000 here locally. We're asking for 5 or 10% of that from the municipalities, local banks, local business owners, that type of thing. And then those funds, if awarded, would be matched by American Bloom and Canadian National Railroad. At this point, we have 3 commitments of 10%, and Max Spears donating his time to design sustainable plantings and landscaping that fit within the scope of the grant's purpose. And we're simply here to see if the city would be interested in that, considering the 3 main rail corridors for Canadian National being Summit, McComb, and Magnolia. Those would be the 3 sites that we're proposing more sustainable landscaping and beautification go into.
Okay, board members. Selectman Connie.
Write us up a, what do we call it, a agreement, what do we call this, an agreement, a proposal. I think the only thing that the community would have any concern about is like outlining in that proposal a third of the grant being used in McComb, just so that we're not,
Oh, absolutely.
we're not
Absolutely.
subsidizing.
It's intended to be evenly split. So,
And we vote next week. Let's vote on that.
all right, can do.
For just 10% if awarded.
Yeah.
Not seed money.
Okay, Selectman Mullins.
I would be interested in knowing exactly where you would be doing the beautification.
Well, it's gonna be along the rail corridors,
Yeah, okay, well, I mean,
outside of the right of way, and more than likely somewhere in the area of the depot, museum, the display, that area there.
Okay, Selectman Isaac, then Selectman Kaiser.
Okay, why not be open for other areas like Windham? I'm just saying to keep it.
Because this grant is specifically earmarked for areas along the Canadian National line.
Okay, Selectman Kaiser.
I think what Selectman Cross was asking if there's any type of drawings or anything of just ideas for next week when we vote would be helpful.
I'll get in touch with Max and see if he has anything yet. If not, we'll
The 33% would go a long way for just knowing that certain amounts of allocated.
Yeah.
Or,
oh, absolutely.
And also, when it comes to this, we have to be mindful that that property actually belongs to CN. So if you're gonna do beautification, you've got to have their permission to do it. The city cannot grant you permission to beautify CN property.
Well, technically, the grant cannot be executed within CN's right of way, so we would have to be on city property.
Okay. We have our city attorney.
So I would ask that you spell out in the proposal, because these are things that the Board of Mayor and Selectmen need to consider. I need to know what your entity is. Are you a nonprofit or?
We're a 501c3 nonprofit.
Who is the grant coming from? Please specify who owns the land
y'all.
And specify the amount that you're asking for.
Can you?
I have a question.
Selectman Thompson.
So, what if the grant is not awarded?
We have a rider and proposals that we've sent out to our private donors that we would like to move forward with a diminished or a smaller version of the project if that matching is not awarded, and it's completely their option.
Any other questions? None. We're gonna put this on the agenda for. Okay.
If we could get that from you before,
Oh,
if
absolutely.
they're gonna ask me questions,
Oh, absolutely.
and I need those in.
I can have that to you more than likely end of day tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Okay. Following the agenda, neighborhood-based officer program. Mr. Justin Lawson, who's also supervisor. Justin was supervisor.
How y'all doing, y'all?
Doing
How are
good.
you? First, let me say thank you, board, mayor, selectmen, and selectwomen, for the opportunity to be here this evening to share this program with you. I do have some handouts that I would like to give you as it relates to this, so we can all be on the same page.
Pass them to Selectwoman Isaac.
And Mr. Chiefs as well. And I'll give you a moment for that to get around before we get started. All right. So it seems like this made its way around. Again, thank you. So I think we can all admit and acknowledge that violent crime, gun violence in particular, is a huge issue in Pike County as a whole. However, there are some specific areas in Pike County that are predominantly impacted or disproportionately impacted by violent crime based off of data and statistics that we've been able to look at. And in able to combat that, we cannot combat it by doing nothing. We must be able to do something to be proactive in that nature. So in partnership with the Housing Authority as well as our board and the Pike County Sheriff's Office, we have come up with something called the Neighborhood-Based Officer Program, which is a collaborative model for safer and stronger communities. What you have before you is just a very high-level overview of the program in itself, of what it could be. Nothing is finalized yet because we want you all to be partners in this process as well. That being said, it is the Pike County Board of Supervisors in partnership with the City of McComb and the Pike County Sheriff's Office as well as the McComb Housing Authority. This program is proactive and focuses on community engagement, prevention, and partnership by assigning officers, specifically off-duty officers, to these specific neighborhoods to help build relationships, assess some of the local needs in these communities, and connect residents with critical social and economic services and resources. And so you will see here some of the, you don't have them on yours, but give you a high-level overview of the program objectives. Again, it's to strengthen community relationships, so building that trust and cooperation between residents and law enforcement through visibility, accessibility, and regular community engagement. Right now, what we recognize historically, particularly among brown and black minority communities, that there are race relations and so many other things that we have seen come about. We simply cannot go and be remiss in not recognizing that when we talk about a program like this. And so the first goal is not just to come in and be reactive in police communities, it is to build trust amongst the community members. But what is the benefit of that? Well, that helps lead to proactive problem solving in the end. What do you mean by that, Justin? Well, what I mean by that is that if you build trust with community tends to be more likely to share with you information. A lot of times they know about what's happening. They know about what's coming down the pipeline, but they don't feel comfortable sharing with law enforcement because of those relations. So if we're able to bridge the gap, build that trust, we're able to be able to address some of those things, those underlying causes and neighborhood challenges as well. The other piece to this is resource coordination as well. And a part of that deals with unemployment. It deals with community disengagement. It deals with housing, healthcare, workforce, and educational resources through coordinated referrals and on-site services. What do you mean by that, Justin? Well, you can police communities all you want to, but until you get down to the socioeconomic, the social issues that people are faced with day in and day out, the contextualized conditions that they live in, then there's no way that you're going to be able to really truly be able to address gun violence. People are unemployed, they need opportunity. People do have mental health conditions, which we talk about a lot, not just in federal government, but at the local level about how they can help people as well. Collaborative partnerships to be able to make this possible. So in saying all of this, what are those collaborative partnerships? So just based on who I've talked to, there's a co-clinic at the University of Mississippi who is willing to offer free telemental health at each of these sites for residents to go in at their own leisure. There is also the Housing Authority, which is willing to commit $10,000 to community-based programming, so awarding that to a local youth-serving organization, specifically earmarking those dollars for youth programming and some adult programming around financial literacy, around STEM, around educational initiatives and things of that nature, which is super important as well. But one of the biggest things with this is that it's threat assessment. Too often law enforcement is forced to be reactive, and the community feels it. It's, oh, well, why didn't you do something before it got here? Well, the thing about law enforcement is that they respond when they're called. They can't be everywhere doing everything for everybody, but they can be placed in positions where they, in these communities, can assess risk. If they see the exchange of drugs, which can lead to violent crime, if they see or hear people talking about violent crime about to be committed in their community, they can address those things. But if they see gang members in the community, they can be able to assess that, report it to the police chief of the city of McComb, to the sheriff's department as well, to be able to come up with a plan to be proactive, not reactive after a shooting or a life has been lost in the process of this all. That being said, there are several different locations that are being considered. Housing Authority is 100% on board with all of this. They have asked that officers, deputies be placed at each of the housing projects that they have. They do have security, so security would stay to support that as well, but they've asked officers to be placed at these locations. What we're asking for as the Board of Supervisors, the Housing Authority, and with the Pike County Sheriff's Office is on our end, we're willing to offer 3 to 4 officers for this program. We're happy to do more if we're able to fund it. How we fund it, we're using our overtime budget. So if we prepare our budget every year, overtime is there. We're truly dedicated to applying those funds to be able to do this because this is a problem that we have to solve. And the longer we wait and the longer we do nothing, then guess what? More young people are going to lose their lives and be in unsafe communities where they cannot thrive. The city of McComb, what we're asking of you all, again, we don't know your money, we don't know your budget, we don't know what you have, and that's okay. But if you have overtime that you're able to allocate to a program like this, you have 2 officers, 3 officers, 4 officers. We're also asking that you partner with us in this initiative. Again, I've already talked about the McComb Housing Authority, the $10,000. But in addition to that, they're offering us a substation that also dually serves as a resource hub. So I talked about all these different programs and initiatives, the telemental health, the program, all those things. They would be located in those areas. The good thing about this is that you don't need an employee. You're going to do this because it's self-service. So you don't need an individual, a salary for somebody to go in and work these spaces. Kiosks, your computers, all these things, with the exception of programs or organizations that might come in and use those spaces for separate programming. That being said, I have had some conversations with many different organizations. You'll see them listed on the document that you have available there. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I am happy to answer questions. One thing that I want to mention is that this program isn't about telling our communities that they've done anything wrong. Sometimes they can't help it. They're just a product of the environment, or they're a victim of the environment that they're in at the end of the day. It's mostly outsiders who are coming into these communities that are committing these crimes because of whatever beef that they might have with somebody else. However, this program is to provide safety and security for individuals. We want people to feel safe in the communities that they're bringing their children up in. Do they want to be there? No, not necessarily. But some families just simply don't have an option. No matter where you live in the city of McComb or where you live in Pike County, you should feel safe at the end of the day. The other thing that I just want to simply note before I wrap up is that we cannot over-police our communities. This is not what this is for. But we can focus on poverty. We can focus on trauma. We can focus on hopelessness that a lot of people feel. And so this gives us a chance to really invest in community, to invest in our people, to also rebuild trust, hope, and safety, one neighborhood at a time. And ultimately what ends up happening, if we don't tackle this issue where the issue is actually happening, it's going to spread out. And right now we're actually seeing a culmination of that happening in our community, spread out into the larger part of the rural county. And so, again, we are fully 100% on board with Pike County Board of Supervisors and the Sheriff's Department. I did have a conversation with your Chief of Police and Assistant Police Chief. I was actually going to have our board actually try to pass this on the 15th. But he said something that really provoked me to say no to moving it forward. This isn't his backyard. And he's right. He should have a say-so, and he should have an opportunity to be a part of this to also protect the citizens that he was sworn in to serve. And so we don't want to do this without you. We want to do it with you. We did a good job on the interlocal agreement as it dealt with Central Dispatch. We made that happen. And again, this is in our continued efforts to rebuild our relationship with the city of McComb to show that we can work together for the good of the citizens, because without each other, we're going to continue to allow this city and this county to deteriorate. Because at the end of the day, when we're broken, leadership, or excuse me, the community is a reflection of their leadership at the end of the day. When we don't work together, we're going to tear it down. So I'll take any questions, Mayor, if the board of you may have some.
Lord. Selectman Thompson.
So, when you said that you gotta look to supply 3 or 4 officers, are we talking 24-hour service here or just?
That would be at the discretion of the police chief and the sheriff, how they want to rotate them out. So most time officers have beats that they're on, which are simply shifts that they take. So there's not one dedicated officer that is always there. They may choose to rotate officers in and out of this, but there will need to be continuity there for the full time. It's not you go for 4 hours and you leave. You're actually there as an off-duty officer and you pay for overtime.
Selectman Todd.
To be present again next week so we can discuss this in executive session.
Certainly.
Possibly we'll legal impacts.
Yes. Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up, Mayor, if I may. In this, particularly dealing with police relations, there is actual training that we are willing to pay for. It's $5,000 training that we're committed to paying for the officers that participate in this program. It's cultural competency. So at a high level, and I think that's actually mentioned in there, preparing these officers to go into these things, not just sending anybody. You got to have people that really understand the community context and what it means to community police. They don't teach you this in training. So we got to give it to them before we place them there. Otherwise, we'll run into some issues.
City Attorney.
Supervisor, how are you today?
I'm good, Mr. Attorney. How are you?
Excellent. I have a question. And I'm just looking at the document.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't see jurisdictional concerns spelled out in here. How is that shaping up? And the reason I bring this up, to be very honest with you, I'm just going to be transparent.
Yes.
For the board's consideration, as well as the citizens, is I would be concerned that this would be another CCID, Capitol Police, like we have in Jackson, police force, beginning of a police force inside of a police force,
Okay.
or jurisdiction inside of the jurisdiction of the city of Macomb. And, those things had to be washed out in long-standing court issues. And so, while I see the notion, I don't understand the legality. I don't see that spelled out.
Okay. If I may, Mayor.
You may.
So, and I want to say this without coming off anyway, but we've been in negotiations, so we get it. The sheriff's department, the sheriff is in the end the chief law enforcement officer in the county. I don't say that as the big bad wolf or the bully in a sense. It is not our goal nor our effort in any way, shape, or form to create anything like CCID, which is the reason why we want to partner, so that it is a collective effort between both the county and both the city of Macomb. As far as spelling out additional pieces about how all that could look, that is open to discussion amongst our board and your board. I didn't come here basically and they were saying, here it is, take it, this is what we're gonna do. This is saying, if you're on board to at least have the discussions about this, how can we come together and figure out at the end of the day how we work together to make this work? So we can build out those boundaries. We can talk about and discuss all of that, which is why that's not in here, because I didn't want to put something to come out that's concrete, but more of an opportunity for open discussion.
Well, I understand that the sheriff is the senior law enforcement officer in the county. That does not mean he has preemption over what happens within the jurisdiction of the city.
That's correct.
So I want to make sure we're clear on that.
Yes.
From a legal standpoint. I don't know what the ask is of this board.
Yes.
Other than to consider your proposal, because I'm still missing the
Yes.
legality.
Yes.
And so I don't think that this is in a position at this point for the board to be asked to make a decision by the 15th or any point thereafter if those things have not been discussed.
We are.
And that would be my advice.
I apologize. So we're not asking for a decision, but I said that the 15th, October 15th at our board meeting, we had considered going forward, but then due to the conversation, out of respect for the police chief, I took those words that he said to me and I took them to heart. This is his backyard, and he should be and have some say in whatever happens in his backyard, because he is, at the end of the day, the chief law enforcement officer of McComb, at the end of the day. And in saying all of that, I do agree with you. And again, as I've stated before, we want to build this with you, not without you. So you're going to get a say in everything. Now, here's what I don't want to happen. Because we have a tendency to do this between Pike County and the city of McComb. Is we sometimes allow personality and historical incidents that have happened between us to take 3 to 6 months to a year to get things done. Think about how many lives you're going to lose in that process. So my ask is that if we come to the table, which is what the ask is, let's have an open discussion. That's the commitment that I want today, is that we get an executive session or whatever, have a discussion about all of this, figure out how we put a plan of action together to make this work for each entity. And then, hopefully, top of November, middle of November, make some actionable steps going forward.
I'm not trying to be difficult.
No,
I'm really not. I'm just trying to remember all the exceptions
Yes.
that will put this in an executive session.
Yes.
Discussion.
I appreciate you asking the question, but here's what I don't want to happen. I don't like it in my boardroom, the secret squirrel stuff. We go behind the scenes and talk about stuff instead of just asking the questions out loud what we need to say. I don't think in this context, as the way it is, right now, it deserves to be an executive session thing, because what the community sees when we do that oftentimes is that we're trying to hide something from them, and I don't want it to appear that way, particularly if the minority, Black and brown communities who already feel like law enforcement is against them, they need to have full transparency about what is happening, particularly in their communities if we do this.
Yes, so I don't recall an exception that would allow this board to put that in an executive session properly.
I agree. And I think you might be speaking to Mr. Cotting's point about maybe discussing it in executive session next week.
Yeah. I want him to have a week to digest it
Yes.
and come back and tell us if this is something that he wants or not. That's
Yes.
why I want to delay a week.
Yes.
We're not voting today anyways.
Yes.
And that's why I want to go into executive session. And I want him, as a personnel, as a possible litigation, to have the ability to speak transparently to us without being ridiculed in the public or whatever he decides as our chief. So if you need to concern why I wanted to go to executive, that's why. And going forward, I think like we're probably good on this arm. From what I read in the paper, it sounds like your board has some major concerns about this, being that it's not being done in Summit and other smaller communities in town. So,
If I may, Mayor.
Sometimes you have to start somewhere and spread out. And this may be the start between the county and McComb, and it can spread out once Magnolia and Summit and Osypha see how it works. It can spread out to include this, but sometimes you have to take small steps.
It's a pilot.
Yeah, and see if that small step and how far that small step. And if you fall in that first step, then you know you need to go back and before you invite others, you can go back and regroup and figure out
how to fix
what
it.
happened and how to fix it.
Yes, sir. And if I may, Mayor,
You may.
to your point, Selectman Cotton, I fully agree with you. Even at that point, I don't, based off of my knowledge, it doesn't rise to the level of something that should be in executive session. Again, with this type of situation, talking about police in Black and brown communities, it needs to be above board. Now, you get into money, budget, that type of stuff, I think that's important. And if I may, Mayor, Chief, we did have a conversation. I don't know if you want to just briefly share your sentiments on it, but that's why I'm here today, because they basically in so many words was like loop us in. And
Chief, you've had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Supervisor Lofton
Briefly.
briefly. You
Briefly.
had the opportunity to, even if briefly, let that roll over in your head, thinking about it. Tell us just briefly your opinion.
Okay. I'm not gonna be as prolific as Mr. Justin here, but I didn't know all the other parts to this. There's a lot of other parts besides the law enforcement parts. The law enforcement part is, I think, kind of infringing a little bit on the day-to-day operation. I think the sheriff and I can work together and wouldn't need any board approval to do the police part. We could do that. We could just get together and put our officer over there. We get together. We could do that. But the other parts here, I think is very important to get together with the boards and kind of work it out, because we got a lot of support services here that need to be discussed. But the day-to-day operation of law enforcement, I think that's something that could be definitely worked out, and I like it. I like it a lot. But I didn't know the extent of it at all.
Mm-hmm.
At all. So, and I don't know if the sheriff did it either.
Yep.
But I don't want, like I said before, I don't want it to look like you all was coming and trying to take over. Me and the sheriff are definitely working a great relationship now, and we are trying to work together. But if we get this on the back end, kind of create some friction. So I think if the sheriff and I can talk and then bring it back together, I think it'll be better.
Well,
Coming
it's
from
still,
us.
it's still in the discussion stage, not in a concrete stage at all. So it's good that you and the sheriff can discuss it. We as a board, we can discuss it. The board of supervisors, they're discussing it, and then we can come together and discuss it. So we're in the discussion stage.
Yeah, I'm good.
And one thing, Mayor, if I may, those other pieces like community support services, we won't, as a board on our end, our sheriff's department, we won't manage those pieces. So that's going to be external organizations coming in, doing those things. That's going to be a housing authority piece. So that won't involve us. It doesn't require an intellectual agreement between the two of us, our housing authority, with the exception that if they decide to subaward those funds to a nonprofit organization community, that would be the only contractual kind of MOU or agreement that would actually need to be in place for the expending of that particular money or monies. How you looking at it?
Again, I think it's something that, being proactive instead of reactive. I think the housing authority is a good place to start, whether it's in White Acres or Berglund Heights or Utopian Homes. The housing authority is a good place to start and move out, branch out through the city, because there are in East McComb no housing authority, but East McComb would be another area, Beartown. So yes, it would be good. So let's keep the discussion going, and hopefully we'll be able to work something out. Want to encourage the sheriff and our police chief to continue to talk about it and work. Come to us, come to you all, the sheriff department, and our chief come to us and talk to us. But let's keep the discussion going.
Is it okay if I send you an email to maybe coordinate some time that I know we can all be there because we be breaking
Yes,
a lot. But
You
yes,
can.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Do I need to stay for the other item while I'm up here, or do I need to go?
I think you should stay for 6.
Stevens Drive.
Please do good.
Number 5. Number 5, Garrett.
Yeah.
Don't bring
it's
it up.
8.
Yes, sir. So we've got pay application number 6 and 7 for the Delaware Avenue project.
You should have it in your package.
The Greenbrier, payment number 6 is for $838,320.32. And number 7 is for $435,152.95. We will have one more payment on this project, which will include retainage. Project has been complete. Punch list items complete, so that project is in the process of being closed out now.
So you're telling me Delaware is being closed out?
Yes, sir. We are working with DEQ on the 50% match, closing that portion of the project out as well.
Make sure, as you did with the pass, you pass that on to us, because when those payments come in, our finance people have to be able to match that. So please make sure we get a copy,
Okay.
or email that to us so we can have it on file.
Yes, sir. We will do.
Okay. Put both of those on the agenda, please. Let's move to number 6, Mr. Garrett and Selectwoman Isaac. Just stay there, Mr. Garrett.
All right.
Okay.
Selectwoman Isaac.
Yes, I would like to ask the board to consider looking at paving Higgin Drive, like asking the county, would they do paving, would the city do paving? The county, is on the left-hand side going down, and the city is on the right-hand side, like I'm going down Higgin Drive. And I think that'd be a great project, you know, Mr. Justin just said working together, you know, that was his, you know, he used that word, you know, it's time for us to start working together. You know, half live in the county on the left-hand side, and then the other ones live in the city on the right-hand side. You know, all the way down Higgin Drive. You understand what I'm saying? Half of it is the county, half of it is the city. And it would be nice if we can get that paid.
What's the number?
Mr. Gary got the amount. And I wanted to see if we can get it out from the add-on. As an add-on.
And Mr. Justin, you may come back up.
So,
Somebody listen, Justin.
if I may, Mayor, myself and Miss, how you doing? Myself and Mr. Jimmy Ray Phelps, who is our county road manager, did have a conversation yesterday. If I believe yesterday is correct. What we can offer is that we can offer the manpower. So if you all have the materials, we can offer the equipment and the manpower and do the whole entire road. Now, if we actually have some of that lies within the county, I think it stops at like North Lago or something. We can take care of that part of it. But we're willing to do the whole thing based off what he said. Now, of course, our board has to put a resolution together that approve it. We've done this in the past for Berthadale Road. We've done it for Slay Road, leading to Amity County, and there's one other road, it's a street as well. So again, there's not a problem with it actually. And the attorney, correct me if I'm wrong, what is it? Mississippi Code annotated 65-7-85. I'll let you write that down.
You're at 65-85.
65-7-85 in the statute, it allows us to be able to come in and provide the manpower to do this if you all would provide the actual materials. So that you have to spend money on the contractor to come in and do this.
Hold on. You got to try to give another one.
Listen, I'm willing to discuss it. It's going to be up to the county road manager at the end of the day because he has to look at not just what it costs for the manpower that we're going to expend, how many days, and then we also have a 4-year road plan. So every year there are a certain number of roads that we try to pave, and how we can fit that into the schedule. So it might not be 2 roads a year, 2 streets a year. It could be like 1 every year or something like that to kind of get something started.
Let me make sure I'm processing.
Yes, sir.
You know, sometimes my processing is slow, so bear with me.
Mhm.
What I'm hearing is that you will provide the manpower. If we buy the asphalt.
Correct.
Okay. So therefore, you have the equipment to spread the asphalt. Okay. And the county would be willing to work with us if this is the way we want to go.
The county road manager would have to, he's good with it. He said he couldn't do it till next summer because of the weather changing. However, if he's good with it, I feel comfortable presenting it to the board, and I don't see really any issue that will come up with us doing this.
Okay.
So. And is it possible that, I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask y'all because I can't talk to them. Is it possible that we can get a separate, we don't need it because y'all got to pay for stuff, so never mind.
Yep. And what this estimate is, this was an estimate to overlay Higgins through the current contract that we got. What he's talking about would be separate from this project. That would be something completely, handled outside of this project. So,
Okay.
we had put this together, for the current project that we do now.
Okay. Selectman Cotton.
So according to Tommy's math, it's about $100,000 in asphalt. So just paying for materials, about $100,000. And then they have to strike it themselves.
That's just getting dry.
That's just making it dry. And he does have an extra 40 yards on here that he's not supposed to have.
Where did Justin go? Oh, supervisor.
Yes, sir.
Your equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Is it able to? And it probably is. The thickness of the asphalt from 1.5 or 2 inch asphalt.
I do believe that we can do that.
Okay.
I would have to just verify that with our road manager because I think we actually recently did 2 inch, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Mrs. Spurlock, if they go this route, it's going to create a shoulder problem because you're going to build the asphalt up and there will be a drop. Not going to mill. You're just going to overlay.
Overlay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah. So, would we be able to address the shoulder because it's going to be at least a nice little drop on Higgins if we just asphalt?
This is my first time hearing this. I need to go out and look and see how we can be able to take the shoulders off.
Yeah, because it's going to require that if we just place asphalt there. And that's happened so often in the city where we put asphalt and there's a drop off, especially on Hart. We didn't go back and taper the shoulders on Hart, and it's a nice little drop off there. Yes,
Can I ask them, recommend something? If it's possible that Gary, Mrs. Spurlock, and then Jimmy Ray Phillips and myself, we actually go out there, set a time, and just coordinate and figure out something. All right.
Just get me to see you drive, so.
I'd have to answer that. I can find that out.
Is this road in bad shape?
There are definitely portions throughout that are in bad shape, especially towards some of them.
And it's past Live Oak is out of the city. So that last 2 blocks is out of the city limits.
So yeah, that estimate that I gave you is
It's all the way to Southern Homes, which has all that. It says there's 7 tons of base repair. So, according to this map, about 7% of it's in bad condition. So, if you want to think of it like that. Which is enough. We're not saying that not to do the road. We're saying that based on the need for a mill or not. That's why we asked the question.
All right, thank you, Ms. Garrett. Selectwoman Isaac, lease agreement. I'm sure you should find at your station the information that the city attorney emailed to you, but I told Ms. Patty, go ahead, print it up, because many of you may not have your phones and pull up the email, so having it there in front of you. You have the information that was shared from our former city attorney that was given to our present city attorney as it relates to the lease. And at that point, I'm gonna shut down Selectwoman Isaac, and I'm gonna yield to our city attorney for you all to talk as it relates to that. Yes, just a moment. Mr. Sylvester.
Yes, sir. Mr. Light, I've been up in Bergen 18 years. Half the people in here don't know about Bergen when it's coming up. Like, for instance, when your father was over that office, I was there. He settled a lot of problems with stuff like that went on. I see now that you nothing like him. I see the change.
Understand, Mr. Sylvester. This is government.
Okay.
Government says what you can and cannot do. It ain't whether or not I'm like my brother or not. That's not the issue.
Yeah.
This is government. And there are things that government say you can't do. There are things that government says you have to back off. So the government says that. Okay.
I understand. I see some problem with the roads when he was talking about. When you talking about the drop off. Told my whole mother off my car because when they laid the pavement, they said they can't go in the driveway no more to make it even. You know, I put on pay for it. You know, I argue with the man in the city. But hey,
Okay.
like you said, businessmen.
Selectwoman Isaac.
Okay, Mayor, okay, we have some lease for 20 years, 25 years, 50 years, and 99 years. And then we have some paying $1 a year for 99 years. They pay $1 a year. Some paying 10, some paying 12. I'm saying this is something we need to come back and look at again. You know, it's time to start signing some new lease agreement. No, it's on here. Some paying 10. It's on here.
I'm with you.
Okay. I can show it to you. I can show
It's in front of all of us.
Okay, I was just trying to let him see I'm not telling the tale. I'm just saying. And then like
I find it laughable that we've been doing this for 3 years and I don't see any movement. That's what I'm laughing about.
okay, and that's true. We have. And you know, and but 3 years. Okay. And then, you know, that's what I'm talking about. Like some years are too long. I'm just saying, like 99 years, you know, we talked about that. And then we have people that are, can I say it, lawyer, that are leasing the building out, like they paying us, subleasing the building out for $250, and then they giving us $1 a year. I'm just saying. Okay. I have a question, and I think I asked so first. They actually some dollars. So you said for like $100.
Some of
I
them,
see it on there.
some
but I'm
of
just
them
saying
pay
actually
10 years in advance.
$10.
My work to do. My question is, I would like to know, even though we have a copy of all the lease agreements, my question would be, what else is associated with it? And so, what I'm asking is, do the city do the maintenance on these buildings as well? Do the city make repairs on these buildings, or pay a water bill on these buildings, or?
Let me say, this is a summary. You actually have to have each individual's lease. Majority of the lease will say that we are responsible for the roof, the air conditioning, the base of the building, any improvements that they make, is improvements that we would benefit from. Majority of them are on free water. That they are responsible for any other utilities. Selectman Kai.
I think it would help if we got like a little one pager on each one of these, just kind of highlighting. I imagine the newer ones are on the generic lease, and that those would be pretty quick. Some of the other ones. Okay, so I think I need to be brought to speed because I'm a little confused, and I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, so don't let it come across that way. Were every single one of our leasees sent a dissolution letter and proposed the new schedule that we worked out, what, like a year ago or so, 18 months ago? I thought that's the point we were at, and we were renegotiating all the leases, but all of them were broken via the letter, and we were working on them. So is this in your opinion what current state is?
I don't have any idea
Okay.
about anything that has never been mentioned to me, that there was a dissolution letter. What was sent to me was this list
From
from the former city attorney, Attorney Williams, and a copy of some of the leases. And so what I provided you had asked for a copy of the lease. None of those leases I can tell you are
so
new.
So can we just start at the top and do what we said? But okay, start wherever. I don't care. I know I didn't mean it like that. You're right. Wrong one at the top. You want to just start somewhere and go through the process of dissolution, negotiate for, dissolution, negotiate for, dissolution, negotiate for, and just knock this out once a month or something. So that at least we know that the ball stays moving. I'll start that. Do that.
The question that I've constantly heard from Selectwoman Isaac is the number of years. She has said that the number of years need to be structured around the term of the board, 4 years. But that's been one of her concerns. The other one of her concerns is the amount that they pay. And the other is the ability to sublease from Selectwoman Isaac. From my city attorney, on her behalf, she has constantly said that she did not think we could lease it out unless we looked at fair market price, value, something like that. And she has requested an opinion from the Attorney General as it relates to whether or not we can lease it out for $1 or $10, or do we have to go with the fair market price as it relates to that. So she wants to do her due diligence to make sure what we do is legal. So that's why she requested the Attorney General's opinion. Selectman Kai.
So what I'm hearing is your recommendation is to wait till we hear back from the AG before we start dissolving these agreements and go that way.
I think what we can do, we can draft a lease if you want,
Standard.
and just leave out the cost of there and wait until we get the Attorney General's opinion and insert the cost.
So what I've heard around this board is we would like pretty much everyone to be on a standard lease except for maybe Amtrak. Everyone else would be on a standard lease, right? Yeah. So I'll do that.
So
And a standard lease according to the individual vendor. Now look at the state theater, that's a 50-year lease, $1 a year. Well, 2 years ago, we spent $300,000 on the state theater for structural problems and air conditioning. Now, I'm of the opinion that those kinds of things, that these kinds of buildings should be shared or paid for by the patrons of the arts and not the city itself. Especially not this city. But
That's the standard lease. If that's the standard lease you want to put out, is that the leasee's responsible for X, Y, and Z, and put it out there and see what they say. I mean, I have one theory of the direction it's going to go, and it won't be positive, but that doesn't mean that we can't have that productive conversation later.
Okay. And I see my city attorney.
Thank you, Rick. It would be my recommendation, yes, that we wait for clear guidance from the Attorney General's office. In my request for opinion, I asked about the length of leases. I also asked about, because general law is that one board cannot bind a successor board. So any of these 50-year leases, at any point you all could say, we're not honoring a 50-year lease if that is the, desire of the
Majority of the board.
Of the board.
Yeah, that was the stance of the dissolution letter. That was sound.
Well, I guess it was never action. I don't know. Was it action?
I think it was, but I can't be for sure.
Okay. Well, he didn't send that to me. I can follow up with him and ask him. Okay.
He's got stuff going on.
He does. The big. So that would be my recommendation, that we wait to get clear guidance from the Attorney General's office. It is my opinion that fair market value is what the law says, but that you don't, because they're nonprofits. You don't have to do the compete, but you do have to do fair market value. Now, I may be wrong, but I'm gonna have the Attorney General tell me I'm wrong. As far as the subleases, there is concern there, because if they are now making money off of something that the city has leased to them for less than fair market value, then there are tax implications for the city, because now somebody is making money off of our property, and it's basically considered a donation that the city cannot give. So that property may need to go back on the tax roll if that is the case. So there's some law out there to that effect. You asked for a one pager on each lease. What do you want in it?
I mean, I think just so we have the length, we have the amount. I think who's responsible for maintaining what, who pays insurance for what. What are the other hot topics that we brought up?
Utilities.
Yeah, that's a good one. Who pays utilities? But like, I know British Trust NAACP, they're in our building. Like, we're going to cover those utilities. It would cost us a super amount of money to put a separate meter out there for a rental. But I don't. The ability to sublease, if that's in there somewhere. Any other hot subjects that need to be combed through so that we don't have to read 20 pages of lease for each person?
But I think like all stuff is 99 year lease.
Anything that would be a cost to the city.
I will also say, while here you're saying standard lease and there will be standard clauses, every lease is going to be different. There will be a set of standard clauses, but every lease is going to be different.
Okay. So that
Lord, I'm saying that I would like for the city to do away with the 99 year lease. I would like for the city to do away with the 50-year lease. 5, 10 years may be acceptable. I'm just being, I'm not no 99. I'm just saying.
I mean,
select
yeah, I don't think we've veered away from that point. Ideally for me is the leases in the middle of the next term. So no board is having to make a tough decision week one, okay? And they get enough time to figure things out before they make a decision on a lease or something. So midpoint of each board, or every other board, if you want to do an 8-year and not a 4-year, would be the perfect time to.
Or 5 years.
Well, then
If I was next board.
then that off cycle would land maybe sometimes in that rough spot where you get elected, you're hiring a police chief, a CA, a fire chief, and you're doing all these leases. That's a lot for the first meeting. It makes it highly political.
Okay. Okay. What? we will hold off on the lease until we get directions from the Attorney General as it relates to the length of time that a lease can be, as well as the cost. And we'll move once we get that direction. Okay? Number 8, we tabled the Infomart bill for June that slipped through the crack. There were those of you who wanted to go back, review the bill. I've gone through the bills. Didn't see anything eye-catching. So put it back on the agenda for, and if not, you all decide not to pay it. Go ahead.
I think a lot of this was my fault. I did not see an itemized list. It was itemized in our packet. I just scrolled right past it on accident. So I was trying to flip through bills to kind of get a pulse of it when it was itemized in our packet. So I didn't see any Walmart receipts on it.
Also, you should have the September bill, which I told you we would have to. You have the supportive documents. You can take them, review them, and if so, if we need to pull it from the agenda Tuesday night, we can pull it, but you all need to peruse it. I will peruse it some more to make sure nothing is standing out. Catch my eye. Ice cream, popcorn, anything like that. You know.
Mayor, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So, I'm trying to make sure I say this correctly. One of the things I thought was in their contract is they're doing it for us. They're being the project manager to do all this work. But I don't think it's in their contract to actually be responsible for this work. But they're doing it anyway. They operate the plant, but all this work, construction work they're doing and hiring out and committing our funds is not in their contract. That should be coming from this purchasing office, not from them, and then we just pay the bill. I don't think it's in their contract.
Well, let's pull their contract to be sure, Selectman McKenzie. I'm not quite sure whether it is. It's not, because they do have a $50,000 budget there for maintenance and repair, and once that's exhausted, then
that's what I'm talking about. I think it's like $6,000 a month. Does that sound or maybe it's for a year? But once that's gone, then it's the city's responsibility to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
and again, they have asked us. And I told him that I felt comfortable with them bringing the bills, letting us pay for everything and all that. But let's get their contract. And let's be sure, okay? And we'll get the contract to our city attorney, and she can go over it also. Okay, Selectwoman.
We had a contract, I thought, in February with Infomart.
I have to check the contract.
I'm just asking the question.
But it does come up at some point. Selectman Thompson.
Who for the city verifies what's purchased and installed?
According to, that's what we're trying, and that's what Selectman McKenzie is talking about also. In the past, it's the responsibility of the city administrator, okay, as well as the responsibility of the public works director, okay, because water and wastewater falls under public works, but at the same time, everything day-to-day operation falls under the CA. Okay.
Yeah, because when we get a bill saying it's a $10,000 pump, we don't want to $10,000 pump. So we know we paying it, but unless somebody verify we have approved.
Right, right. I hear what you're saying. But like I said, normally it's the CA and the Public Works CA. Okay. Any other? Selectman Todd.
Can I add an item?
We're not quite there yet. Let me keep going. Okay. We have the purchase of 3 color printers, and our printers are old, especially the 2 in City Hall, and I think 1 somewhere else, Recreation, I think it may be. And Miss Emma is here. Miss Emma came and talked to me about it. I said, Miss Emma, you need to come before the board and talk to the board about it. So Miss Emma is here to talk to us about those 3 printers. Once Miss Emma, I'll let you ask the question. Go ahead, Miss Emma.
Kitty Freeman with One Source, Office Automation. She worked on getting the copiers on state contract. They were at $28,672, and on state contract they'll be $12,608. And as the mayor said before, the 2 copiers here in City Hall is almost 10 years old. And with logistics and parts, they're soon to be obsolete. And with downtime, our color printer was down for about a week, and and that was just an inconvenience all the way around. We didn't have any color copying going on.
So Miss Emma, you and I talked about this as a purchase, right?
Yes, it's not a lease. It's a purchase, so we will own them. However, we will pay them maintenance. They will monitor them. They will bring us our toners whenever they see them low. So we will have 2 color copiers here at City Hall, and also the Recreations Department needs one as well, because they come over here and do any flyers she needs printed and so forth. So we will pay maintenance.
Selectman Cotton.
So the printers we currently have, are they leased or purchased?
They're leased.
Okay, so the lease doesn't include
Well,
upgrading
more
them?
like rental. No, they're rental. I'm sorry. They're rental. Right.
The next question is, and this is not maybe a fair question, so call me out on it. Why do we need 2 inside this building at $12,000 each? Why can't we just do 1 inside this building?
Because they're both going to be 10 years old. So which she said, by them getting as old as they are, pretty soon they're not going to be able to get parts to repair them.
He wants to know why we need 2 copiers in City Hall. Why is that we can't go with just 1?
I never said it would be cute. We can, I mean, but it's I guess. Yeah. That's just being honest. Right? One upstairs, 1 downstairs. Exactly.
And let me tell you, both of them will be used.
They do be used. Overlay. It's the way it is. Yeah.
Okay. Lord, should we put it on the? Okay. All right. Page 19. Thank you, Miss Emma. Page 19 and 21. You have a letter from Steve Cox as it relates to 20L. You will see that he's looked at 20L and he's asking us to pay the invoice for 20L. Any questions? No, sir. I can tell you they're not finished. Selectman Cotty. I'm sorry, Selectman Mullins. Selectman Mullins, I heard you, but they're not finished, Selectman Mullins.
We look alike, I get it.
Selectman Cotty.
I looked at
Is he coming next week to talk in executive session, or was he supposed to be here this week?
Steve,
Yeah.
I can have him here.
Because I thought we had some questions that we need to ask him.
We do have some questions.
Yeah. I don't know if out of courtesy we need to do executive session at like 5. We can go to a normal board meeting. I don't know, but just heads up. Okay.
Okay. We have the resolutions. I'm going to yield to my city attorney. The resolution for L&R. Oh, you're not ready for that? No. We'll skip over it. Okay, let's keep moving. You have a quote.
Oh, I can talk about it. I can talk about it.
Okay.
There was, you all made an amendment to the ordinance, deleting the gallon, the ABC.
We never did that.
Right, needs a resolution, so I put together the resolution.
So we can make a formal letter.
We have to make a formal resolution to send it.
Okay.
Yes, and so
So
the
you
resolution has been drafted.
But when we voted, didn't we vote on that resolution?
Not you voted on the ordinance.
Yes.
During government.
So we'll have that. You should have on your desk in front of you a paper that says Southern Pipe and Supplies. Mr. Spurlock came to me and asked me if we could put this on the agenda to be paid out of modernization funds. I cannot authorize the use of modernization funds. This board has to authorize use of modernization funds. He's asking for 72 registers. They are $212 a piece, coming up to $15,264. Put it on the agenda. Okay.
That's a question.
Go ahead.
Didn't we replace 300 of these already? 400 of these?
400.
I'm trying to think of the nice way of saying this. Are we testing them when we replace them to see if they were bad or not?
Mr. Spurlock, I can't answer that question. He wants to know when we replace them, are we testing to see if they're optimal?
Yes, they were.
So we were saying all 400 we replaced were bad.
They were bad.
We know that 100% for a fact.
Okay, and these 72 is
Some are to replace and some to have in storage.
okay on stock, on hand, in stock, not on stock, in stock. Okay. Any other questions? Selectmen.
So have all 400 been put in?
Yeah.
Okay. But modernization fund, that's where he wants to take it out. Also, I'm going to ask the city attorney to inquire, because I don't remember and don't have documentation, because the city CA normally keeps that documentation as to what the modernization funds can be used for, because the legislature last session changed again. So I want to know that if we're spending the money, we're spending it correctly. Okay.
Even that's capital improvement fund, isn't it, what it's for?
Cool. Modernization.
No, meters and.
It can be used to come out of capital improvement. But he asked for modernization, so I'm only following up on what he has asked me. Selectmen Cotty.
I now have 2 items.
Okay, go ahead with your 2 items.
So the first one is this is a CYA statement because I see Henry's not here, but you know, kind of made a big to-do about a certain water and ice maker, and I said I'd make sure it was on the work session and that we talked about it. But I see Henry's not here, but I would love an update to see where they're at on that ice machine. So
I will get with Mr. Henry.
Mayor.
Yes.
Okay, I also spoke to Mr. Henry. He said he was going back to the other committee and he can, you know, that other part he used.
I agree. I got that same message. I feel like that's an email that could have been resolved in 20 minutes. So, you know, it's now been 7 days. Out of respect for someone who plopped a multi-$1,000 machine on their property, I think they owed an answer from us one way or another. And
I'll get on that
I
tomorrow.
don't actually know.
Okay. But government do operate slow. Just remember that. Okay. Go ahead.
National League Conference is next week or next month. We need a voting member I don't know who's all attending, but we probably need to vote on who's our voting delegate for that conference.
Well, I'm not going to Salt Lake City. So
if I'm the only one, I don't mind being the voting
I might be going to Salt Lake.
So we need to put this on the agenda. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. And authorize Selectman Cotton to be the voting member. Okay. Anything else?
0 for 6.
Anything else? Nothing else?
You keep on.
Motion. Meeting adjourned. Department. Very quickly, come department.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are y'all? Ready to go home. During the month of September 2025, the McComb Fire Department responded to 71 calls for service. This included 3 structure fires, 2 brush fires, 1 vehicle fire, 1 trash fire, 24 rescue and medical incidences, 15 general service calls, 1 controlled burn, and 25 false alarms. And yes, we have talked with James about the reoccurring ones.
Yeah. We have an ordinance.
We do. We've had it, we've never enforced it.
Does it have teeth? Does it have a dollar amount?
50, or do you know for sure?
I don't remember off the top of my head. But it's got a little price to it.
Just do it one time. I just want to see what happens. Just fine, one time.
We currently have 6 vacancies. The feel-good story is all 3 students that are enrolled in our 1001 class have an average of above 85. The stumbling block is our rate of pay.
We're gonna work on that.
I would like to say something, and I've been wanting to say it for about 2 weeks. As I sit back and I watch what you all do, and the police, all first responders, I want to personally thank you all because there's been some things going on here in the last 2 weeks in Pike County. And y'all been hard. Y'all been up working like in the police department. You've seen some things that I couldn't stomach to see, but you all do a great job, and I thank you all for it.
Thank you very much.
But they both have new pay scales. They're waiting for this board to approve. So
stay on topic.
Just saying. Hey, get it for the fire's hot.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, yes. Month of September, police department issued 195 tickets.
Amazing.
The income from those tickets in misdemeanor paper was $25,964.71. We made 91 arrests. 70 felony cases was bound over to the grand jury. We had 33 felony arrests. Non-violent felony was 25. Unfortunately, we had 1 murder. Feel good story. Our pops up are successful. We like those. Hindrance, we need money, raises, and vehicles.
Okay. Anyone else? No one else? Announcement. First responding.
Is this first? Is this first or second work session?
This will be the second
Yeah.
one.
So, when does the financial year start?
October 1.
Okay, it's not September 1.
No.
Okay, so on this meeting, it's supposed to be the city clerk and the CA as well. And I think this is a good time where we expect the monthly budget update. So November 2nd work session or October. Sorry, I thought it was September 1st was the start of the financial year. But just next cycle.
First responders. They would have breakfast at Denman Junior High on Tuesday the 28th at 9. a.m. First responders. And I made sure they understood that I would be asking all first responders. So that's fire, police, and public works. A lot of people forget that public works has been designated as a first responder. So let's make sure first responders, they have them on the 28th, Tuesday, 9 o'clock, them in junior high school. Okay. Also, this Saturday, those of you who may have forgotten, Miss Baylor will have her 4th breast cancer walk and event starting at 9 o'clock. The walk will start here at City Hall to the Bo Diddley Pavilion, and the event will start. She has a lot of good information, some free food, some vendors, all that. So please come out in support of McComb City's 4th breast cancer walk. Any other announcements? None. Meeting adjourned.